Our content briefing module makes it really easy for you to research and outline a piece of content. The name content brief is maybe a bit misleading because brief suggests that you are going to send it out to a writer. You might not do that. Our content briefing module is also very, very powerful for researching your own piece of content before you go and write it. As we'll show you in a minute, you simply enter a keyword and we'll go through and pull all the most important topics, all the important headings, and all the important questions around that given seed keyword. And then in one easy place, you can look at all the headings and questions that are of interest to you and move them over into the editor to start outlining your piece, your content brief in effect. There's also a feature where you can click a button and auto-generate the outline in about 20 seconds. Now the outline is based off of the top ranking pieces, the topics and headings that they use, and the keywords that they include. So it's not just based off of what other large language models use like ChatGPT, which just basically come up with it. We're basing it off of the live actual SERP results. So it's a data-led way of ensuring that the outline that you've created and that you're briefing is based off of data and will stand a better chance of ranking. Let's jump in and see what it can do. The content briefing module can be found in the middle pane here. And if you already have a keyword or an article idea in mind that you want to create a content brief for, you can simply come in and type it. So we could do how to do keyword research, select the location and country, and then we could create the brief from here. The other way to create briefs is if you've been using the workflow and you've either done your keyword research here or maybe use other tools and then clustered them. Because jumping into a clustering project like this one, what I could do is I could say, okay, show me all the ones that I don't rank for. So show me all the keyword clusters I don't rank for that are informational. And then you'd simply scan through and go, okay, I want to write a piece on keyword research API. I want to write one on keyword research for SaaS companies. I want to write one on Reddit keyword research tools. And by clicking this symbol here within the clustering projects, you're going to send them direct to your brief. So you can create briefs there and then send the briefs that way. But here is a content brief I made earlier. Now this is targeting the keyword how to do keyword research. Now you can imagine if I want to rank for that keyword, I need to come up with the best version of that content. I need to come up with a better version than all the ranking 20 pieces. And so what I used to do was maybe search this keyword into Google, and then I'd maybe open up each one of these tabs, and then I'd be going down and looking at all the common headings they have. And in a spreadsheet, I'd start listing them down because my goal is to create a piece that's better than all of the top ranking ones, all of these ones. So I want to make sure I have the same headings as them, but ultimately that I have more headings than them as well. Like I'm more comprehensive, I offer a different angle, and I make sure I include all the important points. Now our content brief feature makes that part of the process really easy because you don't have to open up all these tabs anymore. We show you all of the top 20 results here, and you can expand them and see all the headings that they already have. From here, you can just start adding them to your content brief over here. And it's really a pick and mix. Like I said, you're trying to come up with the best version possible. So you're scanning down and you're actually going, yeah, I probably want what is keyword research. I'm going to rename this so it's not the same as everyone else's. Have to do keyword research for SEO. Let's just leave it at that. Keyword research, I want that to be a H2, so I can knock that up. You can knock everything down into the heading structures here. Why is it important? I'll keep that. What other ones do I want? Benefits of keyword research, I'd have that. And I'm going to move all these up to H2s. And really, I'm going through these top 20 articles and trying to work out leverage the best headings out of all of them. One of the interesting things we do show you is the DA of each one, the domain authority. So if you're seeing one with a low domain authority in the top 10, like this one, it's probably because the content, generally speaking, is really good. So this is a really interesting one that we might want to especially analyze because they've got a significantly lower DA than everyone else and they're ranking really well in the top 10. So this is one I might pay special attention to. Once I'm happy that I think I've got all the headings that I should have, I can very easily check by coming over here and grouping the headings in terms of how similar they are. So I tend to go for max, and it basically groups all the similar headings together. So I haven't got a heading on how to find keywords, so I might want to add that. I haven't got a heading on how to analyze keywords. I haven't got a heading to do with, this is probably my title, but understanding search intent. So it's a really easy way to start adding headings that you might have missed. And again, you can move anything around. So you can, I'm hitting command here and I can select multiple ones and move them up or down. I can move them across and I can do anything like that. I could also add my own headings. So I could say other FAQs. This might be really important because if I just drop this down and bring this up to H2, I can now come to my Reddit, Quora, and People Also Ask. So hopefully at an angle that my competitors haven't covered. So if I go into People Also Ask, can I do keyword research for free? That might be an interesting one I start using. Is the Google keyword tool free? I can add that one, and I can knock these down to H3s. And I can start building a brief that's, as I said, not only leveraging the best parts of all of them, but including other FAQs that people might not have had before. Now, the goal of a brief or a content outline, as we're doing here, is to make your writer's job as easy and quick as possible. So if you are not going to be using the writing assistant, which is the second part of this tool, the writing assistant helps you then write this brief into a fully written content very quickly. If you're not going to be using that and you want to send this direct to a writer to write, these little paragraph buttons here generate an AI bit of text, which might make their job of writing a bit quicker. So for example, what is keyword research? If I wanted them to have a head start on what that might be, if I could click this, it will start generating that paragraph for me. Cool, so that has happened in just a few seconds. I can rephrase it if I don't like it, and I can go down and add a few more of these as well. So benefits of keyword research is another one I might try. Great, and when I finished, I can really easily export this to a Google Doc, and I can send this document to a writer to start writing up. If this is too manual for you and you don't want to go through all the headings and start doing your own pick and mix, we do have this option of auto-generating your outline. It is here in the top right, or if I hadn't started adding these, it would normally be here. I'll just add it. I'll just delete all of these for you now so you can see where it would be if I just come fresh onto this. So this is what it would look like if I just entered the briefing module, but not actually started to add my headings. And you can see here, it's just a big button here. And if you have started adding headings, it's this small one here. So what this button will do is scan all of these top ranking pieces for you and actually come up with a pretty good first version of a content brief. I would still recommend after it's done going through and making sure all the headings are there, but it does a very good first version. It does it in about 20 seconds, so let's give it a go. You'll notice when I click it, this little box comes up, and this is to give it more context if you want to. It's completely optional. What I mean by that is, as I said, for this keyword, how to do keyword research, to rank for it, I'm going to basically base it on the top 20 results. Now, it's not going to be the same as this because I'm not going to use exactly the same headings. I'm going to use some of the headings from this one, and I want to use some of the headings from this one, and some of the headings from this one. I'm basically just trying to make the best version, right? But it's still going to be from the same sort of angle as probably the top 20 results because they all talking about roughly the same thing. If I wanted to give it a bit more context, I didn't want it to be looking like the top 20, I can do that in this context box here. So a good example might be, and we say it here, if you're writing a guide on what it's like to travel in the UK, all the top, and you're looking and all the top results are from the perspective of someone from the UK, you don't want to, and you don't want your brief to, you don't want your content outline to also be from the perspective of someone from the UK. You could say, I want this from the perspective of someone from outside the UK, like this. And you'll obviously spell perspective right. And it giving that extra context, we'll still base it on the top 20 results, but we'll come up with a slightly different angle. So in our example here on how to do keyword research, I might just give it, so all the top results, basically how to do it for Google. I might actually give it a bit more information here and say, I'd like it to be to do with Amazon. Probably not the best example, because if you want to rank or write content for how to do keyword research for Amazon, that should just be the keyword you'd entered in. So the results would reflect that. But maybe it's how to do, maybe you want the angle to be how not to do keyword research. You could give it that context here. For now, I'm just going to generate it based on the top 20 results. So I'll click this with nothing in the box. Cool. In about 20 seconds, we will have analyzed all the top 20 results and come up with a pretty good first version of a brief. So you can see we've got how to do keyword research, understanding it, generating keyword ideas, analyzing search volume difficulty, understanding search intent, selecting focus keywords, utilizing keyword tools, and a few other headings. So as I said, what I might do is still come back, and what I'd recommend doing is still coming back to your list here and starting to do a bit more research around how can I build this out even more. Again, looking at your Reddit, your Quora, and your People Also Asks. There are a number of little features here that you can use to make your job a little bit easier. If you're making a brief, you obviously want to only analyze informational results because you're coming up with an informational article. And as you're scanning down, you can see some of these aren't informational. We've got a Reddit in here, which technically isn't informational. And if you try and analyze the headings here, it might confuse you more. So what I can do is just filter out anything that isn't informational. So I just want to see the articles. And now it just makes it a little bit easier to look at. I can also view the live SERPs, so I can see if there's any people also ask questions here or any featured snippets that I want to target. And I can do things like sorting by word count, and we've gone through that, and sorting by, at the moment, by default, they're sorted by rank, but we could sort them by word count, domain authority, or page authority. So if we sort it by domain authority, we know that if we scan down, these are maybe the ones we should be looking at out of interest. We also let you add your metadata very quickly, so we could auto generate a title and description. This is a time saver for people like me because I take ages agonizing over what my title and my description should be. And then, as I said, you can export to your doc, or you can copy it, or we'd encourage you to send it to our writing assistant, which is the next stage in this journey, and we'll go through that in another video.